Hello, I'm Rachel Campbell-Johnson. I'm the art critic for The Times, and this is our second in our series of vodcasts. Today I'm at the Gagosian Gallery in London, where I'm talking to Damien Hirst about the show that he's done responding to a show of triptychs by Francis Bacon. Okay, Damien, can you remember the first time you saw a Francis Bacon painting?
I can remember seeing books, but I can't remember actually seeing a painting. I think, there was one painting of, it looked like a kind of woman in a shower in the Leeds City Art Gallery that we used to look at. But I don't think it was particularly typical. But I think once I'd seen that, then we went and got all the books. So I think we kind of, the David Sylvester interviews and all that sort of stuff. We devoured those as kids.
So you kind of understood immediately that these were works which had a really visceral impact. They hit you straight.
Yeah, I think they work on every level, don't they? They work for kids and they work for grown-ups, and they work, they kind of, in a way they're like album cover stuff as well, aren't they? So, and also the ability, the way you can paint like that was just brilliant. It just meant anybody could do it, you don't have to go and, if you look at, I don't know, like a Rembrandt painting or something, you need a lot of work and a lot of practice to get to that point, whereas Bacon sort of kind of well, for me as kids, and me and my friends we had a lot of friends who wanted to be artists. We all thought, God, anyone can do it. It's brilliant.
So when you started at Goldsmiths making art, did you have Bacon in mind, or was it just that you were steeped in his ideas anyway?
I think by the time I'd got to Goldsmiths, we'd given up on the idea of Bacon, because I think I saw Bacon's paintings and then really loved them, thought they were brilliant, and then sort of everything I painted looked like a sad Bacon for quite a few years. And so I think that's probably what had a lot to do with me not going the painting route. So I started thinking differently, really, because I definitely remember for a few years painting second-rate Bacons.
But do you remember any conscious thought? I'll try and do something like what Bacon did, but in 3 dimensions. Was that in any way conscious?
Not at the time, I don't think. When we started off, but obviously it goes in there. There was a lot of more. With the fly piece that I did, there's a lot more minimalism, like Sol LeWitt or Judd, and a lot of kind of American minimalism was sort of influenced by then at that point. But I think underneath it, the sort of visceral, the feelings of that. Bacon. Once you see a Bacon, they don't really go out of your mind. And
you have the same grandeur of vision.
I've always been in, when I was at school, I used to always draw quite bloodthirsty things with the teacher's red pen, and my mum always says I was morbid. Why can't you just draw flowers? Or paint flowers and all that kind of thing, but, I was always sort of drawn to the darkness in some way.
Okay, so tell me about the beginning of this show. Did you hear that Gagosian was putting on the Bacon triptychs, and did they invite you, or was it your idea, or how did this happen?
I got a phone call where they said they'd got a Bacon show on, and they wanted to borrow this piece, the piece with the flies.
Which you brought back from Saatchi?
Yeah, so I initially said yes, and they were going to put it in the other room, but then they said maybe if you had anything else we could put it in this room. So I kind of always wanted to do this piece, the George Dyer piece, but so we kind of just whipped it out of the bag at the last minute to put in the show.
So how long did this take you?
3 months. But I had the idea. I'd always thought I'd make a great painting, but maybe a little humorous if you're sick like me.
And did you see it as a translation?
There's lots of things that you see, in paintings and things like that you think would make great sculptures. Like I saw there's a great Max Ernst painting called The Hat Makes the Man, and I always thought that'd make a great sculpture, and I recently made a 3-dimensional sculpture kind of out of that. But lucky for me, when I went to art school, we were a generation where, we didn't have any shame about stealing other people's ideas. So, I think you call it a tribute, don't you? When you steal someone's ideas. Yes, but I just always thought, especially, the first thing is that George Dyer thing, that here's a guy who committed suicide on the eve of Francis Bacon's opening, and, obviously I don't know the guy, but what it means through time is it's still actually, it's quite a meaningful thing that, I just read a book called Night Falls Fast.
Yeah.
About understanding suicide, which is, quite a heavy book. And, you just think that, it's that sort of tragedy, or that, you can't do anything about it, and somebody bows out in that way.
And so then earlier you were saying that there was something quite funny in its sickness, but do you find these more funny, or?
I don't know, there's maybe an element of Sesame Street in there, but maybe not.
I don't see Sesame Street in
it.
Maybe
that's just me.
Absolutely terrifying.
Maybe that's just me.
So tell me about this piece. This is one of your early pieces.
It's called 1,000 Years. I think I've tried to work out how old it was. I think it's about 16 years old, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, I think it's 91, if I'm making that up.
No, it's something like that. So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gambler 91, so that's 15 years old.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long time. We're getting old. We're all dying. Yeah, but I think it's... I was just trying to make a piece about something. I made two, one called 1,000 Years and one called 100 Years.
Yeah.
And just with the whole life cycle in them. But, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. Like I said, the minimalism with solo-wit, or like the idea of a dice that you can roll that's got one on every face for that box, so you can, you can't really win.
And did you feel appalled in any way when you had finally finished it?
I definitely felt a bit like Frankenstein or something, like
Yeah.
I'd created something. But I think, anything, in a way, dying for art is quite a bad thing to be doing. Even though you get fly killers in restaurants, When it's in an artwork, you kind of, every time one gets killed, I go, oh, God, what have I done?
Yeah, one of the things I really liked about the shoot was that when you go close, it blears your eyes, like
Yeah, I
you're
love
drunk,
that, yeah,
you
the
can't
refractions.
see. And it's just like the bacon surface of the paint. You think anyone can do bacon, and you go up and you think, how'd he do it? It's just a broken up, clotted jumble.
Yeah, I think with the bacons, it takes a hell of a lot of courage, really, to just, to do it so simply.
And when people say, but you haven't made it yourself, does that worry you, or do you think that matters in art?
I think people have been saying that for, 10 years, hundreds of years, really. They've been saying it to me, but, not really. I mean, it's like architects don't build their own houses, do they? I mean, who made it? I made it.
Mm.
But I don't think there's any artist that can get what he wants without involving other people on some level.
You've lived with these for several months now and you've seen them. Are they something which you're looking for an immediate impact, so it's a work that people who come into a gallery can immediately appreciate? Or are you wanting something with layers?
I think you make a big effort, don't you, at the time, but things sort of have more meaning later on. Like when you look back at this and realise it's that old and look at it, you kind of... I think you need distance from things to work out what they... whether they've... or how well they've succeeded or failed for you. Mm. But, new works are always, it's always difficult because you can think it's the greatest thing you've ever made and everybody tells you it's the greatest thing you've ever made and then you realise 2 weeks later it's a pile of crap or something.
And if you were told later that what lasted is all your vitrines with taxidermied animals or the formaldehyde animals in, but that your spot and spin paintings or whatever were never going to last, would that worry you? Or do you think everyone does one great work and they
think anything that lasts is great, I think you just, what excites me when I look at art books of other artists or dead artists from the past or anything is that it's not really piece by piece. There are great pieces, but what you get more out of is looking at the sort of alleyways, the thing where they checked, the rocks they looked under for information, and, the kind of whole of their career is like a... it's the map of a man or a woman's life. So I think I always look at an artist like that. So you've got to be, even the, so you like seeing the horrible ones, like, there's like when Bacon, there's a Bacon painting where he did a portrait of Mick Jagger, which is not a great painting. And you kind of think, well, even in terms of what he's doing, it's nice to know that people don't always make great paintings.
They make disasters.
Yeah.
I always think that most great artists, bar the ones like Picasso, who had an extraordinary genius, they only really ever paint one picture or make one piece.
I don't know. I've made loads. But you mean one particularly good one?
Well, no, I don't mean one
suppose
particular,
I suppose what
style,
you'd think is...
one mood, one mark.
I think what you'd probably want to believe is... I don't know, I saw an interview on TV with... what's that song? Spirit in the Sky. Norman Greenbaum, is he called, who did Spirit in the Sky. And he was saying he's a one-hit wonder. And he said everything else he made was rubbish. And they did a gig in Holland where they played this song over and over again. And he said, we still got shouted on for 3 encores. So it's all we play. So, hopefully you don't end up like that. But I think, I think as an artist, you always think that what you're going to do in the future is going to be better, or I suppose you wouldn't do it.
So can you tell us one of your ideas that you're going to work on, something that you've got?
Heard of elephants in formaldehyde? No. I don't. Lots of ideas, really. A lot of things are kind of, all mixed up. I'm doing paintings, really, from... which are very different to Bacon's, but they're more from photographs or about images, but I'm not sure where they're going to go. So the things that aren't resolved are more exciting to me, really, than the things that,
So you feel that this is something that you've sort of got and you know how to do it and you can produce it and make something strong?
I kind of felt I wanted to do a crucifixion, and there's a numerous set of things on that I wanted to do, but I think maybe that's my age or something.
And will you do the human body? Do you think you'll ever pickle a human body?
I don't know why, but I don't think it has the same sort of meaning. I went to that Von Hagen's exhibition, which was great, but the things in there, some of them are brilliant. But once you take the hair off and you remove the tattoos, you sort of walk around and go, they're not real. And
yeah,
you don't
they
really...
let freeze-dried meat,
yeah,
didn't
but then
they?
there was one of a face like that, which was cut, which had, when you turned around, you saw the gold teeth in the back. So I think you need the sort of personal touches if you're going to use humans. But I don't know, for some reason, especially in England, people feel more from animals than they do from people for some reason.
Do you think you'll leave yourself to your company to deal with as you see fit in your death?
I wouldn't mind. I mean, it'd be quite good to have it as a self-portrait, but, you know, at the end, it depends what I look like towards the end.
Depends what state you die in.
Yeah, you've got to get on a diet or something first, haven't you? You've got to look cool.
You always get thin before you die. People never do
Depends what you
deathbed
die. What do you
scenes
die
with
from?
huge tummies under the sheets.
I think, do you not?
I've never seen one. You're always thin and romantic when you're dying, aren't you?
Yeah. Wasn't there some Hollywood actress who tried to commit suicide looking beautiful?
And there was Elvis Presley too, wasn't
I think she got in the bed and had all the pills and everything. Had all made up and had her hair and nails done. And I think they still found her curled around the toilet with scabs of puke stuck all over her.
Thank you very much, Damien. That was very kind of you.
Thank you.